So this is the scanner view, and there are parts. Now the kidney is covered by a capsule, this part, and then the two parts of the organ. We have the renal cortex, which is the outer part, just after the capsule, the renal capsule, and then we have the renal medulla. So the inner part is the renal medulla. So this is just a standard view. So if you go look at this, notice this, if you see these big blood vessels, so you will note that there are dark staining structure like this on this part on your right. Right? You see that? Those are the characteristic feature of your renal cortex. And then on the left side, you note, you scan it, you don't see those structures here. Okay? So this is the renal medulla. So let's study this under low power. So this is now the renal cortex. You will see these structures. That's why you know that this is the renal cortex. And then you will know big blood vessels like this. So this is under low power, and there you will see only the lobes. Okay? You don't see the renal corpuscle in the renal medulla. So the functional unit of the kidney is the nephron. So the nephron has parts. Okay? They are your renal corpuscles and the renal tubule. So the renal corpuscles is a structure, and it's composed of different parts. So, anak ko po. Thank you. So this is an example of a renal corpuscle. From that area up to that area, then that area up to that area. So we have studied this before when we took up the epithelial tissue. The line, this is an example of one of the example of your simple squamous. So the renal corpuscle has parts. We have the renal glomerulus. It is a TUFT type of capillaries, and it is fenestrated without diaphragm. And that area, this is just low power, is your Bowman's capsule. Now the Bowman's capsule has two layers. You have your parietal, and then the visceral part, the one that covers the glomerulus. Okay? You see these white spaces? That is your urinary space, or sometimes they call it as Bowman's space. Now let's look at it under HPO. So this is high power of your renal corpuscle. Again, you see those cells. So what is the shape of the cell pointed? Section E. Ano shape ng cell pointed? They are flat. So they are single layer. So that is the parietal layer of the Bowman's capsule, and it is lined by your simple squamous epithelium. Look at the space. That space is your urinary space or Bowman's space. Okay? And then this is the whole structure pointed is your glomerulus. I'm sorry, the specific structure pointed is the glomerulus. The whole structure in focus, ano sagot? Focus. Ano to? The whole. Renal corpuscle. Okay? So, there are, the visceral part is covered by podocyte. Okay? So, you have learned that in your lecture. And this is composed of, the reason it is podocyte because it has pedicels or foot processes. Now, the renal corpuscle has, it is almost rounded, right? So, like the globe, it has a north and south pole. So, this part that part is your vascular pole, and that part, that is, you see, those nucleus, they are round in shape. That part is the urinary pole. Okay? So in the vascular pole, we have two arterioles. The one carries blood towards the glomerulus is your afferent arteriole. And you know the function of the nephron, the glomerulus is the one that filters the blood. So the filtered blood will go back to the circulation through the efferent arteriole. Okay? So this part of the renal corpuscle is the vascular pole. Okay? Why? We have two arterioles. They are arteries, small arteries. We have the afferent and efferent arteriole. Another thing is that this structure, you have learned in your lecture that there is the JG apparatus. Remember the JG apparatus? What is the component of, what are the cells in the JG apparatus? We have your, tapos sa ba lecture nyo? You have finished your lecture, section E? No. Wala pa? Section E, wala pa? Si Dr.
Okay lang.
Sorry. Okay. So, kaya pala, hindi ako pinapansin. So, okay. The afferent arteriole, it has the JG apparatus. It's composed of cells. The cells that are found in the afferent arteriole and the cells found in the distal convoluted tubule. Okay? Remember I told you, the nephron has components, the renal corpuscle and the renal tubule. Okay? So the renal corpuscle, these are the parts. Mamaya na nga yung JJ apparatus. So these are the parts. You have the renal glomerulus and your Bowman's capsule, parietal layer, and this part is your vascular pole and your urinary pole. Why urinary pole? Because the tubule, remember the renal tubule has parts also. Okay? The one that is pointed, can you imagine? The one that is pointed. You have acidophilic cytoplasm, round nucleus, and this is lumen, the lumen. Okay? So, this part, the whole structure of that is connected to your urinary pole. You see those, look at this. You have a flat cell that will continue to this cell, which is round nucleus, compared to that one which has a flat nucleus and round nucleus, and then it will continue to this part. So this part has small lumen, dirty looking lumen, acidophilic cytoplasm, single layer of cuboidal cells, that is PCT. What is PCT? Proximal convoluted tubule. Okay? So that is one of the tubules that continue. It has a continuity with your urinary pole. Unlike in this part, look at this. We have a round nucleus. That is the lumen. So from the tip of the pointer up to that area, from that area up to that area, look at the cell. The cell has lighter in staining, bigger lumen. From that part up to that part, that is your DCT. Ano yung DCT? Distal convoluted tubule. Get it? Understand? Yes. So, Kasi ayaw kong I don't want to miss this because this is a nice example of a glomerular or renal corpuscle. So this part, so this is the one that filters the blood. The filtrate will go there, and the filtered blood will go back to the circulation via efferent arteriole. Okay? Now, the JG apparatus, that is the one that secretes renin. Okay? Now, these renin, they are sensor in the sodium concentration of the blood. If there's a decrease in blood volume, this JG apparatus will be stimulated to release renin. Okay? So we are more of the structures. Now we have cells. Okay? The JG cells will secrete renin, and this one will be stimulated if there's a decrease in blood volume. So these cells, the one that is pointed, part of the renal corpuscle, part of the afferent arteriole, this is where you will find the JG cell. What is JG cell? J means juxta means near here, okay, near the macula densa, okay. So that is the JG cells in the afferent arteriole. Where is the afferent arteriole? In the renal corpuscle. Okay? Look at this. Remember what is this? What structure is this? Ano pa structure to? Look at the lumen. It is big, clean looking. And you have a single layer of cuboidal cell. So what is that? Distal convoluted tubule. So in the distal convoluted tubule, look at the nucleus. The nucleus on this part, they are round. So the lining still simple cuboidal epithelium. But the one that is near your JG cells, they are elongated or cigar in shape. Okay? So this is a specialized epithelial cell. So this is what you call the macula densa. If they are pointed here, to the nucleus, all structure pointed, that is your DCT, or you call it distal convoluted tubule. If you are cell pointed, look at the nucleus, it is more elongated. Ano po sagot? Macula densa. So the whole structure, see, if it is pointed at the middle, that is your JG apparatus. So the JG apparatus composed of two cells. The cell that is found in your afferent arteriole, which is your JG cells, and the macula densa, which is found in your distal convoluted tubule. Clear? Naintindihan po? Section E? Yes. Okay? So let's continue. So we go now to your, what part is this? Anong part po ito? What part is that? Pag anong part siya na renal corpuscle? Pag dito ang if you see those big round nucleus, what part of the renal corpuscle is that? Your anong pole? Vascular pole, people, ito yun. Ito po, urinary pole. Dalawa lang naman, di ba? Pag nakita nyo dyan, if you see this, vascular pole. Pag dito po, it continues there, that is your urinary pole. So, ang whole structure pointed, look at the nucleus, it is round, small lumen, dirty looking, acidophilic cytoplasm. So what is this? Ha? Proximal convolution.